Hi there, Swampies, and welcome Toadside for another blast on the steaming toad. Now, the Japanese have been very active in Antarctic waters for many, many summers now, banging away at whales. No one's really sure what they're doing down there because they claim they're doing scientific research. Now, to join the search for the truth here, Toadside at the table, I'm joined by Professor Amanda Keller, Professor of Whale Blubber at Tokyo University. Professor Keller, are they conducting research down there or are they just fishing?
Look, they're obviously not fishing in the traditional sense. They're tracking and then blowing the brains out in a scientific manner. But I am satisfied that it is all science. I'll tell you about the research that they're doing. Not many people know this. They're studying whether any whales have developed an immunity to harpoons. Right. So far, none have. That doesn't mean that they won't one day find a whale that has a genetic immunity to a harpoon in the head. Yes. And so a lot of research has to be conducted to find that one and find its genetic makeup, and who knows what will happen after that. This is not about eating the meat, which is delicious, by the way. This is about science.
And of course, we've got some fantastic vision from Lauroscope using Ralph vision here that we can look at. And we see, to start off, obviously the whales hoving into view and the boat coming along, and we see the whale and the boat getting in very close together. And then, as you point out, the whale runs up the right flag. That one sadly wasn't immune to the harpoon. Then look at the accuracy with which they're keeping records. And of course, they're collecting the dead whales so they don't die and pollute the ocean and taking them back to Japan. I think it's very, very what would you call it, balanced, nuanced.
That documentary just there shows exactly the scientific work that's going on.
What I'm interested in is the cultural experience of this, the cultural sensitivity of this. People, of course, claim that eating whale meat in Japan is a cultural experience. Would it equate with Australians going to, say, the football, eating a meat pie and having a beer? Is that what they mean by the cultural imperative of it?
Absolutely. It is very cultural. I mean, there's a long, long list of private citizens and members of gun clubs who want to go out on these ships, who want to have a look at the science close up themselves. They've also done a lot of research into into sushi and Wagyu beef, the science of both those delicious things. So culturally, yes, that's what it's about. You know, what can you do? It's like going to the footy and having a pie.
Others say that Japanese kids benefit from the research because they're able to eat whale meat for lunch. Now, if they wanted something that was healthy, nutritious, exotic, why couldn't they have, say, bread with dripping and Vegemite on it, which would have the same food value as the whale meat?
I know, but it's not quite as exciting, is it, as taking out one of the biggest mammals that we have. It's not quite as exciting about the science of ramming a whole lot of hippies on a boat. Sure, tastes good, but it does have these other benefits.
And do you think that they'll ever crack the case? I mean, like you, I can't work out whether the whale dies when the boat comes into view, when the whale sights the harpoon, when the harpoon's fired, or when the bomb explodes in the whale's head. I can't work it out. What's your guess from a scientific perspective of what we're most likely to find, say, in another 250 years when we've run this down to earth, you know?
The hard thing is, as we've said, that there still haven't been any whales that have got past the blowing the harpoon in the head stage. Yes. It's still early days, as you say. You know, that genetic anomaly will appear that is immune to this, and that's the beginning of the next phase of the research. Look, a lot of this is faddish. We have to stick with some of the big science here. Remember the studies years ago for all that orangutan meat? I mean, genetics. Yes. The orangutan genetics. That science isn't quite as fashionable. You don't want to let this go out of fashion because this is big science.
And of course, occasionally the Japanese stop early. People accuse them of being scared by threats from Australia and other, countries that fringe the Antarctic, of lawsuits and the like, and sending obviously the Steve Irwin and other boats down there to bugger them up. But could it be they've just got enough whale meat to last them a year?
They have to check the deep freeze.
Exactly. They've got the deep freeze full, they're back home, and hey presto, it all comes down till next summer. It's a fascinating world down there in the Antarctic, and you should go if you get a chance. I know the Toad goes down there whenever we can.